Yo, SunnyV2, he's like a good creator. He came up with a new video. What is it? Alright boys, let's check this one out. It is the time when Eminem got sued. Oh, Eminem, my favorite mumble rapper.
Eminem dissed his mum on a song so hard that she was able to successfully
I like how the video that Eminem dissed his mom on a song with the fucking
sue him. Yeah. When did it happen? How did it happen? And what amount of money did she eventually get from him? Well, the lawsuit makes a lot more sense if you understand that Marshall Mathers and Debbie Mathers have always had a fragile relationship. When I was growing up, I hated my mother, mainly because we were constantly moving. Eminem recalls his childhood as a tormented time in which he was
I saw this interview of like a black person going on like, you do not want to mess with Eminem. The N-word dissed his own mom. Like that was like,
to attend 15 different schools, while his mum chased boyfriends from city to city, adding that his mother only loved him until he was 8 years old, and that by the
it's kind of weird and petty at the same time, but kind of funny as
time he was 15, she was demanding that he either help with bills or be thrown out of the house. With so much of Eminem's early music often discussing this
look at this dude.
Harsh Detroit upbringing, it was inevitable that at some point he'd rap about he and his mother's poor relationship, doing so for the first time in 1999 after releasing the now incredibly popular song My Name Is, which included the lines, 99% of my life I was lied to. I just found out my mum does more dope than I do. I told her I'd grow up to be a famous rapper, make a record about doing drugs and name it after her, although when Eminem's mum would listen to this song following its release, she'd publicly defend us.
I like the ominous music in the background.
By stating that his upbringing was the exact opposite to this. I'm looking at these and I'm going, what is this? I never worked a day in my life. We never had a house to live in. We lived on welfare. I mean, everything he was saying was like, I almost went into shock. I'm like, this is not true. Why are you doing this?
He was spoiled rotten. Anything he wanted, I made sure that I'd take my last dime and get it.
All right. If this does not look like a crack addict, okay, we're not judging people based off their look, but look at this dude. Wait, that's not a dude. That's the mother, right?
Neglectful.
No.
Pill popping.
No.
Welfare collecting.
No. He needs to quit, making attacks on me. You don't do this to your mom, and it is so hard.
In a different interview,
you don't get to say that, right? If you just.
When Eminem's mum was asked, all that stuff about you doing drugs and his rough childhood, is any of that true? She'd respond by stating, no, and that's what hurt me so much. I am a good Christian and prayer has kept me going.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Alright, okay, we need to research this.
He was too spoiled. Anything he wanted, I would just buy it and I'd go without. I sheltered him too much and I think there's a little resentment from that. And to be fair to Debbie Mathers, there is evidence suggesting that Eminem didn't actually have a rough upbringing. Eminem's younger half-brother Todd Nelson stated in an interview that Marshall was always very resentful over not having a father figure in his life. Growing up, he felt like he missed out on a lot. But all this stuff about him being abused as a child is so far from the truth, it's just laughable.
Holy shit, Eminem made that shit up? Wait, is that true? Did he make this shit up? Marshall Stalin. Marshala Mathers. Wait, what? He made this shit up? Dude, alright, I got a story for you guys. When I was like a child and stuff, like I was I think in 9th grade and stuff, okay, I wanted to be a rapper and Eminem was my inspiration. Even though my life was kind of good and stuff, right, I always felt like, like rapping about how my life is bad and shit. It wasn't bad, right? Yeah. And I will never show you guys my raps from the old, times. Yeah.
Debbie did
You're still a child at heart, right? But my PP has grown.
Did everything she could for him when he was growing up. She bought him his first car, a Lincoln Continental, and ran around after him so he didn't have to take responsibility for anything. She's done the same thing with her youngest Nathan, and he's growing up to be an equally spoiled brat, with this sentiment also being shared by Eminem's grandma.
Debbie was so protective of this boy, she never allowed him until he got in his teens to have a lot of friends.
Whether or not Eminem really had a traumatic youth was yet to be determined. However, on the 20th of September 1999, At a time during which Debbie Mathers was conveniently close to bankruptcy, she'd pick the first lawyer she found in the Yellow Pages named Fred Gibson and file a $10 million defamation lawsuit against Marshall Mathers, stating that his comments had caused...
Did she win? Wait, I'm hooked. Did she win?
Caused various forms of emotional distress, including diminished self-esteem, humiliation, sleepless nights, harm to her credit rating, and even the loss of her mobile home.
When you can't go to the mob for being spit on and being called, you disgusting pig, it's sad because people are passing judgment by listening to Marshall's songs.
However, the filing of this lawsuit only led Eminem's mum to receive even more backlash. Going back to the interview with Eminem's half-brother, he'd state that after filing the lawsuit, Eminem's mum became the most hated woman in Detroit. Debbie can't go out anywhere in Detroit without being recognized, and normally it ends up with her being abused or attacked. She's had everything from eggs thrown at her to cigarette butts flicked at her. She got so fed up with people cursing or staring at her that she'll only do her shopping in the middle of the night.
Yo, I feel like if any one person from like a family and stuff, okay, if they reach a point that is like fucking huge mega stardom and stuff, okay, it affects the family in a way, right? It just affects it. It affects it like, in a bad way most of the times. Yeah.
It's a terrible way to live and nobody deserves what she's been through. When Marshall himself learned of the lawsuit, he unsurprisingly called his mother in a fit of rage. However, in the public eye, Eminem was able to remain cool, calm and collected, stating that he simply expected the lawsuit. My mum is a lawsuit queen. All her life she has sued people. That's how she makes money. When I was 5, she had a job on the cash register at a store that sold chips and soda. Other than that, I don't remember her working a day in her life. While Eminem's lawyer would come forward stating that the lawsuit will only be dealt with through legal channels, Eminem seemed to have a different idea as he began to use the situation as fuel for new lyrics.
Yeah, you rap about it,
Lawsuit didn't stop him when he got hit with a lawsuit. It didn't stop him. He got worse.
On the 23rd of May 2000, whilst Eminem was smack bang in the middle of the lawsuit, he'd released the Marshall Mathers LP on which he'd feature lines such as, "My mum's suing for $10 million. She must want $1 for every pill I've been stealing. Where you think I picked up the habit? All I had to do was go in her room and lift up her mattress," doubling down on the claims that had started the lawsuit. However, this is the point at which the story takes a bizarre, almost hilarious twist. As a result of Eminem continuing to rap about his mother in an unfavorable way, she'd respond by doing something that only a few have been dumb enough to attempt. Debbie Mathers dropped a diss track on it.
Wait, that happened? Eminem's mom dropped a diss track on him. Wait.
Eminem.
With the release of the CD, it was one of the ways for me to get my feelings out there to my son and the public.
The song titled Dear Marshall was released on a 2-track EP called Setting the Record Straight.
It's called Set the Record Straight with IDX and Eminem's mom. And it should be available in stores.
And featured lyrics such as, "We have a problem, Marshall. The past 2 years something really went wrong. I was so excited about your success, yet so let down by your betrayal. Will the real Marshall Mathers please stand up and take responsibility for his actions?"
It includes the telltale line, "Marshall, we have a problem." And to set the record straight on that lawsuit.
Yes, the whitest person in the world, right? Reports on this. Amazing.
Debbie hasn't dropped the suit, but as we said, she is working on a settlement.
With Eminem now having a fair bit of pressure on him from the media, Debbie Mathers reduced the lawsuit amount from $10 million to $2 million with the goal of reaching a settlement. However, perhaps as a partial result of his mother's diss track, Eminem rejected the $2 million settlement request, instead stating that he'd rather pay his attorneys $100,000 just to make sure that she doesn't get a dime. Although, while Eminem wasn't ready to give up $2 million that easily, Debbie seemed to have theorized another method to earn this money. Shortly after having her $2 million settlement rejected, she'd announced that she was writing a tell-all book about her and Marshall's upbringing titled My Son Marshall, My Son Eminem. After seeing her book announcement as another cash grab based on his fame, Eminem would escalate the conflict further by stating, "If I could go back in time, I'd probably go back to the day I was born and kill my mother as soon as she had me." Also released...
How does that even work? Jesus, how does that even work? Like, in a way, her mother was like kind of fuel for him to, if he didn't have that abusive childhood and stuff, how would he come up with genius lyrics such as I'm superhuman. Such profound lyrics, right? Okay. Sorry. Okay, we're not clowning on Eminem, right? Yeah, he's a straight G, you know?
Releasing another brutal song titled Cleaning Out My Closet, in which Eminem can be seen digging a grave for his mother in a music video, whilst rapping lyrics such as, "Look at me now, I bet you're probably sick of me now. Ain't you mama, I'ma make you look ridiculous now." However, while this was the approach taken by Eminem publicly, his mother explained that behind the scenes, he was on the phone begging her to end the conflict, having stated, "All I want for my birthday, for Father's Day, for Christmas, for all the other holidays, is for you to drop the lawsuit." And it seemed like after this phone call, Debbie was potentially going to drop the case. She'd publicly admit that, "I didn't mean to sue my son for defamation. I just wanted to stop my home being repossessed and clear up the financial problems that had been caused," yet under the advice of her lawyer, who stated that the suit would be a good way to give Marshall a wake-up call, Debbie continued the case until it would finally come to settle on the 8th of August 2001. 2 full years had passed since Debbie initially launched the lawsuit against her son, and given how much pain had been experienced during this period, Debbie was likely expecting a pretty impressive payout, although this isn't what would happen. Eminem was ordered to pay his mother a measly $25,000, which becomes even funnier when you come to discover that in the process, Debbie Mathers was charged $23,354 in legal fees, meaning that when all was said and done, Eminem's mum kept only $1,646. Debbie Mathers' lawyer stated that she was the most high-maintenance client I've had in my legal career, and that the $25,000 settlement was a far cry to the time I dedicated to her personally and to the legal action. Following the suit, Eminem and his mother wouldn't speak to each other for years.
We don't really speak. When was the last time you talked? It's probably been a couple of years, probably about 3, maybe 4 years, something like that.
In an interview from 2010, Marshall stated that he didn't even know where his mum was living and that it'd be very...
He probably makes 25k per... Dude, 25... That's... I'd say 25k per word, right? Even the Sama Lama, Duma Lama, right? One line, that probably earned him 25k. Sama Lama, Duma Lama... I'm so sorry. Wait, but I kind of fucking weirded out, right? How do the rap purists of the world, right, don't like say that, you know, Eminem, who goes all like, "I'm a lyrical, miracle, spiritual, lyrical, individual, miracle," is just gibberish as well.
Very hard to repair that relationship. However, in 2014, Eminem released the song Headlights as an apology to Debbie, explaining that he was sorry for all the things he had said about her in the past.
That's it? That's how the story ends? Alright boys, you guys know what to do? Hit the subscribe button for this leg. Wait, it looks like my leg is not even attached to my body. Looks like it's someone else's leg. Yo! Look at this, look at this. Does it feel like this is someone else's leg? Yeah, what is going on? Yo! This looks so weird! Wait, what? Yes. Ha! It's my own leg! But like if I do this, it looks like it's not even my leg. It's like someone else's leg behind me. Okay, whatever. Subscribe, okay? Yeah.